I guess it was probably in anger that he said to me was, you think you're going to be a doctor, you think you're better than me, right?
Mm.
And the funny part was I was like, okay, well, I got to go. Because
Okay.
I was just like, this ain't gonna work. There was and it wasn't even because of medicine. There was a lot of things that
Right.
it just
Because
wasn't
what
gonna work.
he just said sounded like it would have
Like you were
been an
trying to
abusive,
manipulate me.
yeah,
Like you
like an
were trying to,
abusive
yeah, like you were
relationship.
trying to, and I noticed that there was a lot of trying to manipulate. Like, oh, you think you're
Right.
better, and so
Right.
and thankfully, like looking back now, I'm like, man, I'm thankful that I didn't stay in that
And
situation.
you had that discernment, because that's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
discernment.
yeah.
That's a discernment to as a young kid that you don't really know,
Yeah.
and then something is happening, you want to be focused, and then the reaction is not what you expected,
Yeah.
and it didn't affect you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's boss moves.
Yeah.
I think that's boss
I
moves.
think that was
Okay.
God, honestly.
Yeah, I
Not.
mean, we're some boss moves though, because Dr. Maxine, that was bossy. Like,
Yeah.
You're listening to My Father Used to Say, live with Lady Bose.
hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lady Bose, and we are back for another amazing episode of My Father Used to Say. Thank you for being with us, for watching. If you haven't subscribed, stop playing games. Subscribe, okay? I can't wait to introduce you to this belle, okay? This beauty. Not only is she a beautiful woman of God, but she is a doctor, a wife, a mother of two beautiful children, and it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you my little sister, my doctor, okay, and my friend, Mrs. Dr. Maxine Agyapong.
Yes. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much for having me. I am super
Yes.
excited to just be a part of this podcast. It's a
Yes.
privilege. So
Yes.
thank you.
And I'm happy that you provided your time. I actually want to say thank you for doing this again, because what happened the first time?
Yeah. So we actually recorded the first time. It went very well. And then
Yeah.
later on, we found out that a portion of it actually didn't record,
Yeah.
video
And
record. So
that broke my heart. I
yeah.
literally was like, oh my God, we just spent all this time connecting, sharing your amazing story, and it was gone.
Yeah.
Like literally 15 minutes was all we had, and we were here for like an hour.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be here that long this time, because we know what we want to talk about. But as you know, this is a podcast for successful people of God and people who are just finding their way, that have learned from their teachings from their father or a father figure in their life. And the perspective of that is vital, because if you are trying to become a father, and if you're trying to become a husband in the future, these are great attributes to have, because a family man is definitely a man of valor in my eyes, and I think in the eyes of many. But I won't stay too long talking about that, because we are here to hear Dr. Maxine's testimony of how she became not only a doctor, but how her upbringing has helped shape her life today. Let's talk about your background. Let's talk about how you grew up.
Yeah. So I grew up in the Bronx, New York, and I grew up, I'm first generation Ghanaian American. So my mom was a single mom, so grew up in a single parent household. And she did very well on her own, basically, trying to take care of three kids, three girls, the best she could. And I actually didn't. At least the earliest time I remember meeting my father was around like 6, 7-ish,
Okay.
that age, and kind of like sprinkles here and there throughout my life, and then unfortunately he passed away at the age of 14 from cancer. So
You were 14 years old,
yeah, I was.
and how did that? What was that like?
Yeah,
The feeling of that, because
yeah.
you only saw him briefly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
he was gone. So Even though I didn't grow up with my father in the household, I guess I didn't really feel like I didn't have anyone. Because I did have other father figures. I had male cousins and male
Awesome.
uncles in my life. But then, of course, when I, found out who my father was and him being introduced to me at 7, I was excited. So though we didn't spend that much time together, the little time that we did, I would always be excited to see him. So when he did pass away at the age of 14, it felt like, man, I was just getting to know my father and he was
Yeah,
taken away
I do hear that
from me.
a
So,
lot.
I cried even though I didn't have a
Mm,
strong relationship,
yeah,
which is very interesting to me, and I felt like I kind of missed out
yeah.
on what could have been.
Did you see did you see some of those things happening, the missing out happening during school, or did
Hmm.
you feel like it was more missing out because you needed the love? Like what were you
Hmm.
feeling you were missing out on?
I'm missing out on, I guess, when I look at some other friends that I had that probably had their fathers in their lives, like things that I would see that their fathers would do, like teaching them how to ride a bicycle, or,
Yeah.
just kind of like activities that you would see that I didn't have. That's what I felt like missing out on. Even at the age of 14, me thinking like later on, I wouldn't have certain conversations, or my wedding, my father wouldn't be able to be there, right?
Yeah.
Because he had passed
Yeah.
away. So things of that nature that I knew that I had missed out and I would miss out because my father wasn't
Right.
no longer here. Yeah.
Did it cause any types of prolonged sadness?
Hmm. Um, so now, like looking back and being married and seeing the relationship between my daughter and my son with their father, which is my
Mm-hmm.
husband, it makes me like, man, like it's sad that I didn't have that, you
Mm,
know.
yeah.
So that I'm like, man, I'm happy my children are able to experience that, but like
Yeah.
I never really experienced that.
I actually
Um,
know what you're talking about
mhm,
because I think about my daughter
mhm,
concerning that.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
And I know that she probably doesn't see some of the things I wish for her.
mhm,
And I
mhm,
know it will come up later. And
mhm,
I ask how you handled it because a lot of people don't handle
mhm.
it well.
Yeah.
Um, so God rest his soul.
Mhm.
Um, and as you were growing up, you had your uncles, you said cousins.
Mhm. Mhm.
Were these cousins older than you?
Yeah. So there
Okay.
were older cousins than me that helped me, like when it was time for like my personal statement, they helped me with that, or even
Wonderful.
moving to college, because you need that muscle,
You need it.
Yeah, my mom was there, but
Woo!
of course we needed help, like
You need
moving
help.
to the dorm rooms, driving. I went to Syracuse University,
Okay.
so it was like about what, a 5 hour drive. So thankfully I had father figures in place that were able to help me.
Yeah.
um
And not
so
disappear.
yeah, yeah, so I didn't, even though yes I didn't have a father, I knew that I still had support and I
Yeah.
had encouragement from father figures.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
And how did your mother? This one
Mhm.
is pretty interesting, and I love the way it's going. But how did your mother be able to become that father figure
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
place? Because
Yeah.
a mother can only do so
Of
much, but
course.
most times when put in a situation
Mhm.
of being a single parent, which I
Mhm.
know very well
Mhm.
of, I would say from you looking now back at how mom was, um, what were some of the things, and you now knowing what it's like to have a father in a home through your husband,
Mhm. Mhm.
what were some of the things that you're like, yeah, she definitely played a father role there?
Yeah. So I could see throughout that she managed to do, pretty well of covering both bases of being the mom and the father as best as she could, when it came to advice, when it came to just guiding me. She always, I know she probably realized that, no matter how much she tried, of course she would never be
Yeah,
a father
right,
to me. She couldn't. So she knew when to delegate certain tasks,
right.
to ask my male cousins or
Oh, I
uncles.
like that. I
Yeah,
like that,
of
that she didn't try to be too much
Yeah.
of both.
Yeah.
Right. I love that.
So certain things she knew when to ask them to kind of step in to help. And then many times she would just remind me that God was my father. So she didn't want me to feel like I was less than,
I
right?
love
Because I
that.
didn't have a father in the household, and so that wouldn't identify who I was. Because sometimes, of course, it can be very difficult, and that can
Yeah.
affect your self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, so she wanted to make sure that I would still be strong, I would still be
Solid.
confident. Yeah, so she always reminded me that God would always be there for me. And,
That's
you know,
right.
human beings, we can do the best we can, but unfortunately we'll disappoint
Right.
each other, you know. So my faith was one thing that she reminded me and that I was rooted in, so that when there were times that I was sad or maybe I might have felt disappointed, I would be able to go back and know that, okay, God is still there for me. God is still going to provide. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. As you're talking, I'm thinking, what moments can you remember, or one specific where you was sad and your mom was able to come in and be that that intercessor for you, to remind you of your father figure and to keep you on the journey, even as a teenager? Because you know, we're talking about your childhood right now. We'll get into, you know, how all of that has moved you into adulthood, but is there any time where you can just think of where you're like, man, you know?
So I guess I could think of preparing for my wedding, right? And knowing that I wouldn't have my father there, that was very, you know, saddening. And so she reminded me, you know, of course, that he was very proud of me and everything that I had accomplished. And thankfully she was able to, you know, my uncle, my dad's father, walked me down the aisle.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, and he was able to give me a lot of advice. You know, when you're getting married, you know how fathers play a role in that, right? Of advising you and things of that nature when you're looking for a suitable mate. So he was able to step into that role.
I love that.
Yeah, so
I really do.
So I'm grateful for him, and I'm grateful that she was able to, you know, get that side of the family to also be involved.
Right, right, and that
married.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but what I'm thinking of, and that he didn't shy away from it. You know, in the bloodline is evident that he stepped up to the plate. And what a beautiful thing, because we are seeing in the world now that that's not what the majority of people are doing, but thank God that a small percentage are still trying to really push the agenda of strong male figures in the home.
So my mom was very loving, but at the same time she was very straightforward. Like, she did not play around when it came
cookie
to
cutter, nope,
school,
not at all.
grades, and things of that nature. So definitely growing up with discipline, we knew that we had to make sure that our grades were on top. Like, school came first, you know. And she's that type. I remember now where I got my I went to Catholic school, so we had gotten our report card. And then I think I might have gotten like all A's, but one was like B or something.
Right.
And it was like, oh, good job, but like, why did you get that B? You know?
yeah, she gonna focus on it.
Yeah, she's like, we need to get this together, you know? Yeah. So I just remember the household when it came to grades, like, she didn't play. Like,
right.
And even one memory is that I don't remember exactly how old we were, but there was a point where we were, my younger sister and I, we would want to like watch a lot of TV. Like, and I think she started to see that it was kind of being too much, right? So one day we came home from school and the TV was gone.
Wow.
She like, I looked throughout the whole house, it wasn't there. Like, it was gone. She trashed the TV.
Wow.
So we did not have TV for a year. And that whole time we got into reading. So we'd go to the library and things of that nature. So that was the time where my sister and I just really got focused so much on reading. And I think that really helped us, you know, because she realized that, no, my kids are starting to get too much focus on this and I need them to, you know, redirect their focus. So she took that like, okay, then we're all in this house. No one is going to watch any TV.
Right.
And thankfully at that time we didn't have social media and all those things. Right. And we didn't even have phones, like cell phones. So it was like all we could do was just read. Yep. And that really helped me, with academics and things of that nature.
That was a straight culture, like home culture
yeah,
shock.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Like to
Coming
walk
home
in
and you're
and
like,
expecting something. And I mean, can you remember your favorite snack as a teenager?
Yeah.
And then let's say your parents like,
you can
that's
have
too
it.
much. She don't even tell you
No,
you
no,
can't have
she
it.
just
You
straight
just
took it
walk
away.
home and you about to get that what is it, that Nutter Butter or whatever, because I remember some stuff that I used to love, or that Sprite. Oh, that was so bad, but I love those two combinations. And it not be there.
Yeah.
Oh, but that is what we do when we see that, like, it's now or never. It's almost like the scripture about, like, if something is distracting you on your body or something, your eye, cut it out, your arm, cut. And even though people take the word literal, I know what that means now as an adult. It's like, whatever you got to do to stop the distraction, know it, admit it, and make a U-turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I know I'm doing this all day because it's social, then I need to erase the social media, even if it's for a period, and purge, So like you said, 1 year.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Although the show is about fathers, whenever I interview my brothers and sisters, friends, colleagues, people in the industry that may not have had that upbringing, one thing I always ask is there something that was repetitive in your life, either through your mother or through an uncle or through a male figure, that you can spit back and that you actually say when you're dealing with certain things in your family dynamic, at work, that has sustained you? Because we're about to get into when you finally left the home and started college.
So one thing that I remember saying, hearing, excuse me, but it was from my mom, was more so like, know that God is always with you.
Amen.
Yeah. So that repeatedly throughout my upbringing. So whether it was academics, relationships with friends, intimate relationships, whatever. I know that was something that was in my mind. I know that God is always with you. So don't be afraid. Don't doubt yourself. Sometimes you can have all these things where you're like imposter syndrome and things of that nature, but know that God is with you. God is with you. So just keep on pushing, keep on pushing, keep on going. So even to this day, that keeps on going on in my head. Yeah.
It makes me, because me looking at you, looking in your eyes, I know that, I actually see you. We attend the same church, Redemption Outreach International Church. Yep. Yeah, you got to come visit. We be hype, but, and I see you live that daily, even when I don't see you, when we call each other through the week, or I say hi to my babies, whatever it is, message you for a question, you literally have that Emmanuel type of spirit, God with us, How do you feel like God was with you through the next phases in your life when you hit college and you now was going into like what it is you want to do for your life?
Yeah. So I think definitely being rooted in terms of my faith, being younger, we used to go to church literally like
Talk about
go
it.
Tuesday, Friday, and all day Sunday. We had 3 different services at my church.
At nighttime too.
Yes. Okay. So it would be like after school, we would come home, do our homework. Tuesday night was prayer night. We would go at 7 and we'd be
and you better do your homework on time too.
7 I think to 10, go to bed. Then we would, so Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, and then Sunday was all day, like 7 to like 7, like all day. My mom was in the church, so we were always in the church. But I think that really helped me when I was going off to college, because I was away, right? I didn't have my mom there, nor my father figures. So it's like at college, I feel like people
get distracted.
There's so many things. There's so many things that you can do, right? Because you don't really have parents there. You can just do
no one's telling you it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like you got to go to.
No one's telling
that you have to go to class.
Yep.
You may want to go to a party and party all week or whatever, like hang out with your friends all week and not have that structure, that discipline. But I think with me, I had that structure and discipline where it was like, okay, yes, I do want to explore and have fun. But at the same time, I knew what was important from a young age, and I was able to prioritize that. I know that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a physician, so I wasn't going to be distracted. So that's one thing that I'm grateful. I think my mom really did a good job, so that when I was in school, I was focused with just making sure that school came first, and then once I was done with that, I could hang out with friends and things of that nature, and knew that there would be sometimes that I would be lonely because other people would be going other places, and I had to sacrifice my time to study, or certain summers I was studying for my MCAT to get into med school, so I couldn't do what other people were doing. And
no matter what,
you have to recognize that if you have a certain goal, it requires some sacrifices.
Talk to me about some difficult moments before you actually got your you said MCAT, right?
Yeah.
Before you got that, and even into medical school, some difficult moments, and you really had to press through.
Yeah. So like during college, as I said, I actually studied for my MCAT. I took it, didn't do too well. So I had to study again and retake it. But actually that summer I did an internship in New York City where I actually met some wonderful people that I'm still friends with now that are also physicians. It was like a program, like an internship for pre-med. But I remember that summer we did an internship at Albert Einstein in New York City in the Bronx. And we had an opportunity to speak with the dean of the medical school, all of us. And it was like a minority internship.
Right.
So I remember I went and sat with her. She was a Caucasian lady. I went and sat with her. And we kind of went over my portfolio. And like, so in school, my GPA was pretty good, like 3.8, 3.9.
Yeah.
I didn't do too good on my MCAT, which was the standardized test, the first test. So we were talking about it. And basically at the end, she basically told me that she didn't think I would be able to get a medical school. And because I was telling her that it's when it came to standardized testing, I would be very anxious. I felt like I didn't do too well.
Right.
So she kind of suggested the fact that perhaps I had a disability. So later on, so I kind of took that like, whoa, like I didn't expect all of that. So anyway, later on, I went back to the dorm that I was in with the two other girls that were also, we were all, Black women that were interested in medicine. And so I was like, how did your meeting go? We were all discussing our meeting, and basically like the lady said the same thing to all of us.
That's why I was not feeling it when you said that, because I've even had situations where someone has tried to put that on my own daughter. So yeah.
So, and it's crazy because, when we talked and we realized that she said the same thing, we all started laughing, right? We all started laughing because it was ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. That throughout our whole life, like, she was the one saying that because we didn't do well on the standardized test. And so I didn't actually take that so personal. I just took it as, okay, this is somebody that has
a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, and is not here, obviously, to truly help all of us. Because why would you say the same thing to everybody, right? We all have different circumstances. So it was more of a motivation. Like, I retook the MCAT. Applied, and God opened a way, and I was accepted. And though the journey wasn't easy in terms of requiring lots of time of studying and residency, sleepless nights, I was able to graduate, and I'm a physician. And those other two girls that the lady said the same thing are all physicians now.
Look at that.
So in life, there will be people that will say things to deter you, whether it's based on your skin color, because they just don't want to see you succeed, or even your personality. They may not like you for no reason, right? And they just are saying things to cause discouragement and things of that nature. But I've realized that just having your support group, whoever that is, your family, whatever, and then most of all yourself, and your faith, that will push you. Because sometimes, unfortunately, your family, some may not even support you or might not understand.
There you go.
Right? It's not like they come from a bad place, but they might not even understand. So if you in your heart know that this is what you really want to do, and you've had confirmation. When it comes to me, it's my faith that you just got to keep on going. So I specialized in emergency medicine. So I did 3 years of training in that, and that also wasn't easy. Because you were working sometimes 70 to 80 hours a week. So you're working a lot, barely got enough sleep.
Wow.
But thankfully I was able to get through that.
How can you function with not enough sleep?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard.
Yeah. Residency's hard.
Sometimes even when I'm doing research and doing things now, and when I was in school too, I'll be like, yes, I'm going to study for 4 hours. And literally like a few minutes later. And then I'm like drooling and my head is like this and, I do believe that everyone is gifted for their own craft, whatever it is. And in that gift, God will give you the strength. So, I couldn't do what you do. Yeah. And that's why I think that people need to work on that jealousy aspect, that envious aspect, because you need to tap into what it is you are good. That's and then you'll be able to bring a lot of those people that you love what they do, you see what they do, and rather than envy or be jealous or mad at them, bring them into your circle. And now if you need a doctor, you got a doctor. If you need an engineer, you got an engineer, and they are your friends and family. And that's what God has always shown me through the years. So I'm really happy to hear that, because this is something as well that I feel needs to be propelled into the next generation of mothers, fathers, friends, teachers, businesses, everybody, the whole world. So you're going through that. You're in a season now where you are in residency. Talk to me about how you got through that.
So
that was tough.
As I said, it was tough, working 80 hours a week. Different personalities, because I guess that was the real first time where I'm outside in the working world, right? Even though it's training, it's still work. So when compared to before, I've always been in academics, just school.
So now you were in the trenches.
In the trenches. Right. I'm working as a resident with nurses. We have attendings which are higher than us. They finished their residency program. So now you have like different personalities when you're working.
Ego.
It's very interesting. And I've always been very quiet type person, laid back.
I love that. I do.
Yeah, but I remember one attending that I really appreciate her telling me was that she told me that she saw that she knew that I knew my my stuff, but I was very quiet, and she wanted me to realize that I needed to be more assertive because it's because I'm, I was going to be a leader, right? A leader of the team.
You're going to be a doctor.
And you don't want people to take you being quiet as weakness, So learning that balance of being assertive.
Yeah. And still maintaining your personality.
My calm, right? But I think it could be tricky in the workforce, especially being a Black woman, right? Because
you said it.
When you
That's what I was getting to.
It's not the same. You can speak up and then someone may label you as difficult to work with.
Or angry.
Yeah, like, oh, we don't like working with this doctor because she's bossy or this or that. And so it's like, okay, then I'll just be quiet. But then at the same time, you don't want people to walk over you and you're the leader.
Right. And this is emergency medicine. Yeah. So it's you really can't be as calm as people want you to be in a moment where no, I need to tell you that is wrong.
Like, let's do
because
this.
It's an emergency.
Yeah. Like, we got to do this. So like that was the thing during training that I was trying to learn, and I think I really learned it after becoming an attending and realizing that I was, the leader of the team. Yes, I'm supposed to bring calm to a chaotic situation, but if I need this to be done, I need this to be done, and I need us to respect each other.
Look at that.
And because I'm young, right? And I'm Black. And so I need you to be able to respect me. And when I'm saying we need to do this, that we're going to do it.
And I'm not about to yell.
Yeah.
Because I'm not coming outside of myself to satisfy you. Or to make you think that, yes, she's a, I don't want to curse, but she's a B. So because she's a B, let me just keep my job and do it. But now you got enemies in the work, and you're trying to do emergency medicine. Because doesn't that equate to you being in the emergency room? So now, like when people come in, talk to me about that.
So yes, we see a lot of different things, variety of acuity as well as presentations. So just learning how to delegate tasks, like being a leader and delegating, like, hi, I'm gonna need my nurse to do this and that, And still, and because of my personality, I'm respectful to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, right? From the janitor to whoever see you, I'm respectful to everybody. But just trying to find that confidence throughout my training that I can step into this room, maybe being the youngest, but still maintain a certain level of, I guess, like strength and confidence that I can say, hey, let's do this. And then they're going to actually listen to me. And respect what I have to say. So
I'll be wanting to listen to you with everything. Soon as I see, look, she don't ever tell me nothing, but I'll be like, hey, let me know. I see her at church. I'll be like, hey, I love you. Whatever you need, Dr. Maxine. Because you do have that presence. And what's funny is even in music, in education, in music, when we were in school, that was something that was instilled in us, was that you have to lead your song with a presence. No one is going to step into your reality if your song just seems like a learned assignment. I'm just going to learn it, and here I'm going to do this run, and here I'm going to do this, and the end, because you get graded on whether it's authentic. You get graded on whether you captivated the audience, including the professor. I'm going to shift gears, and I want us to get into when you met, because all of this is part of God being with you, and now, when did you feel like, did you even feel like, or did you felt like it's time to get into a relationship? Because, you've always been about the education, be very focused. So a lot of people aren't like that. They just kind of like willy-nilly, I'm 15, I got a boyfriend, I'm and just not restructuring their mind. And then it just takes them on another path. But you didn't do that. You stuck the course. And so when did you feel it was time, and how did you meet my brother, August?
So it's funny, actually, because before in college, I actually did have a boyfriend. But I noticed that at one point I was like, all right, I need to focus on school.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
And that relationship really wasn't, we were young, stupid things, So I was like, I basically straight up was like, this isn't gonna work. I'm focusing on school,
and trying to make that money.
I was like, I need to focus on school. And one thing that, and I guess it was probably in anger that he said to me was, "You think you're gonna be a doctor? You think you're better than me, right?" And the funny part was, I was like, okay, well, I gotta go. Because there, I was just like, this ain't gonna work. There was and it wasn't even because of medicine. There was a lot of things that
because what he just said sounded like it would have been
an abusive, manipulate me.
Like an abusive relationship.
Like you were trying to, and I noticed that there was a lot of trying to manipulate, like, oh, you think you're better, and so and thankfully, like looking back now, I'm like, man, I'm thankful that I didn't stay in that situation.
You had that discernment, because that's a discernment. That's a discernment to as a young kid that you don't really know. And then something is happening, you want to be focused, and then the reaction is not what you expected, and it didn't affect you. I think that's boss moves. I think that's boss moves.
I think that was God, honestly.
We're some boss moves though, because Dr. Maxine, that was bossy. Like not in a negative way, but like, all right then, well, I gotta go, peace out. Like, yo, I would have been like, yo, that's my sister. Like, I would have been so hyping you up.
So, but I definitely think that was God. God knew the future and knew that I needed to exit. So anyway, I met my husband in residency, right? No, so I met him when we graduated medical school. I graduated medical school, and he was a part of the wedding party because my sister got married. My older sister got married.
Yes.
And then he was a part of the wedding party. And so we were introduced by my brother-in-law, who's our pastor.
Our pastor, apostle.
So, and he knew his character. He could speak about his character. He served the church. And so like we were introduced, and I just liked a lot of things about him. I saw how he treated the kids when he came over that wedding weekend, and how helpful he was. Like he was helping carrying all these things, and he was just super helpful without anyone having to tell him what to do.
Come on.
So I think I saw that, like, man, that was a spirit that I liked. I'm like, that's to me, that was very attractive to see a man.
I love that you said spirit, because a lot of people think that it's supposed to be some like hocus pocus thing, but spiritual personalities actually, you know, you can see it. It's evidence, like the fruit of a tree.
Yeah. So I saw that, and I just saw him with the kids, and all these things were like good qualities that I would want in a man. So I actually also at the time too started praying more diligently for a mate, and had written things down that I wanted in a husband. That. Yeah. So I didn't expect. It's funny because when I made that decision, like, oh, I'm gonna focus, and it was probably like in a few months, and then I met. At that time, now he's my husband, but then I met, you know, like in August. And so it was crazy. So I was like, man, that was kind of fast, God, you know. I didn't expect it to be that quick. But we were friends, you know, we became friends. And then 3 months of being friends, he basically was like, you know, I'm interested in being in a relationship. And this relationship, I see it courting that we're going to go into marriage. Like, he was very direct. He knew what he wanted. And so I appreciated that. It's like, we're not trying to waste each other's time.
Right.
And so, yeah, we dated. We courted for, 3 years. I was in residency in New York. He was in Atlanta. So it was busy, too, because... And he would have to come visit me more because my schedule, I can really come as much.
But that's what I like. He was coming to you.
Yeah.
Because... he knew what he wanted. He saw a vision.
Yeah.
Don't follow no man with no vision.
Yeah.
That's been my revelation for the last few years. I don't know where you're going, son. Yeah. And then you get mad at me. No, I got to go. Yeah. Like you said, peace out.
Yeah.
Because I don't see what you see.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing nothing. So, but I like that. He came to you.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
I love it.
He would visit me, and then there would be times that I remember... I think when I knew, like, literally, like, okay, for sure this is the one, was that he came to visit, and on a Friday, I was working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So I left my keys, like, I had to leave my key under the mat, you know?
Right.
And then he came, and so anyway, I got out for work, came home at 7, and then I saw that he had cooked. Like, August, got my keys, and I didn't have nothing, because I was busy. I didn't have anything in the fridge. He went, did the groceries, brought groceries home, cooked like enough food for a good week, and then we had like a meal. And I was like, man, that is awesome. Like, I didn't expect that.
Just a simple thing.
Yeah. To me, I was sold. Yeah, I was sold because I was like, it required like you planning and because he wasn't from that area, like grocery store, cooking, you know, and. So to me, I really saw that, and I was like, man, like, he really cares about me.
And loves you. That was a love move because he didn't say, hey, babe, I just got here and there's no food in the house. I mean, you knew I was coming. That's the least you could have did. No. You know, he saw deeper into, you know, what are some of the things that he loves about you?
Yeah, I think he loves that that I know who I am and then what I do. I know he's very proud of being a physician, and any opportunity that he gets, he'll like let people know, like,
my wife is a doctor.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, you don't gotta say all of that. But so I know he's very proud of me.
Because I can see it.
Yeah. And like, he knows that, like, we always talk about ideas. Like, I'll talk about a lot of ideas, and so he's definitely supportive about that. He loves the fact that I have all these ideas and I bring it to him. I think he loves that, and he tells me he appreciates me as a mom. He sees the things that I do for our kids, making time to spend time with them and things like that. He appreciates that. Yeah. And also encouraging him, you know, and on his purpose and the things that he's doing. So yeah.
This is why I asked you that, because it's full circle. He is your husband, but he's also a father figure in your life. He's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do fathers do?
Yeah.
Even if you didn't grow up with one, most of my friends that didn't, they literally have a better explanation as to what fathers do.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I love that. How is my brother, August, as a father?
Yeah.
You can now see it. Yeah. Besides him loving on you, which is full circle, right? But he has his own 2 babies.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is he as a father?
So, you know, seeing him interact with his children is a beautiful thing for me to see, because I didn't have that. So, like, he is a great father, not only as a provider, but also just being there, you know, because some people can provide, but they're not there. Some people have fathers, but they're not there.
They like, leave me alone. I just got home. Just,
Like,
you know.
he actually makes it his business to spend time with his daughter when it comes to, like, they're going over numbers, the alphabet, things of that nature, playing with her. Same thing with, you know, our son.
Oh, I love him.
And then also, like, when it comes to, like, discipline and, you know, and it's so interesting. You see the ways that mothers discipline different from fathers.
Right.
And it's so interesting. I'll see, like, my daughter, like, he'll just say something and she'll, like, with me, she kind of plays around, but with her dad, like, she doesn't, because she understands. Which is so interesting to me, the power when it comes to that.
They know.
They know, like, who they can kind of get over.
You know, when
with.
I come around, she knows. She be like, let me stay away from auntie. Let me not make her. And I be like, I love you, Aria. I just, you know, I run a tight ship. You know, what's up? Yeah.
So, like, it's been awesome to see, you know, that he is not only the fixer when it comes to certain things in our household, or like fixing up toys, or, you know, building things, because he's really good at that too. But then also with the emotional aspect of connecting with the kids, and
That's
being
good.
present.
That's
and
good.
Making sure, like, when we were pregnant, like, he came to every appointment that I had with to the doctor, like, and so he had to make sure that his schedule around the appointment,
or made it work. Hey, I'm gonna have to cancel.
So I was never by myself. And even times I'd be like, I'm fine, like, I could just go by myself, because we've been multiple times. Like, and then he's like, no, like, tell me, like, when it is, so I could make my schedule around it. Like, he wanted to be present even with that.
I love that.
So it's happy to see. I'm happy to see that, and it's like, man, even though I wasn't able to have that, I'm happy that my children are able to have that.
Yeah. Amazing. And because of that, there's so much stability that even what I see when I'm around you guys, I love the fact that his mother and father are able to be of great help and support to you guys too. Now that you're an adult, the successes of marriage, love, motherhood, being a business owner, how has all of that helped you start your business? Because I know that you were in the brunt of just like starting a brand new life with your husband and being a first-time mom when you started your business, Shea Seasons. Let's talk about that.
So 2020, like most people, I think it was a year that we had more time because more people were home, and people realize, like, maybe certain passions that they've had that they've kind of been sitting on and not doing anything, whether it was because of fear or procrastination, whatever it was. So actually for me, just having a new baby, and then she was also having issues with her eczema, and then me, figuring out how to help her with body butters, making body butters with shea butter, cocoa butter, and other oils, and seeing that it helped her. I just was like, I have time, and why not? Like, this is something that I'm interested in. I have other passions outside of medicine, because I think I define myself as a physician only. And I realized, like, no, I can be more than just a physician. Like, you have multiple passions. Why not explore other passions as well, So that was something, like, stepping out and doing that. It was nerve-wracking, especially the first day that we launched. Because it was like, I don't know, what if no one buys it? You know what I mean? And you put money into it. And
trust me, they buy it, because I buy it. And sometimes I buy it even with no money. I'd be like, well, we just going to have to be broke today. Okay?
Thank you for your support. So, like, I started Shea Seasons. Shea Seasons. Started first with body butters that I made myself at home. And
so good.
Yeah,
so
thank
good.
you
I
so
love
much. And then now it's expanded to adding accessories, loungewear, and they're all, like, inspired by the motherland. You know, as I said, my family's from Ghana, so just appreciating everything that the motherland has. Africa has so many resources. All the different countries have so many resources within Africa.
We're so rich.
Yeah, so rich. I'm just happy to be able to at least shed a fraction of that with Shea Seasons. when it comes to trying to help with dry skin, eczema, scars, things of that nature,
Right.
as well as beauty and fashion with our loungewear and things of that nature.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it hasn't been an easy road, you know. There are ups and downs.
I know.
I'm learning. Being I say I'm a baby entrepreneur, you know, like learning about these things, but it's been satisfying at the same time
Right.
to think of a thought that has now become something.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like the whole write the vision down, make it plain. You know, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I love you so
Thank you
much,
so
and you
much.
know that. But I'm mushy as it already is. But I just want to continue to encourage you because when I think of Shea Seasons, when I'm using it on my skin, and my favorite is the vanilla, vanilla souffle.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that thing. The smell, like even people have hugged me and be like, "Oh, you smell good." I'm like, "I know, I know." Okay, you don't have to.
you.
You can tell me if you want, but I already know, you know. And I just want to encourage you to keep going because I wish I had the financial strength to just launch you worldwide. Like I really, when I think about Shea, I'm like, this thing's gonna go far, you know.
Yeah.
And you're the perfect face for it. You got amazing skin.
Thank
You're
you.
like natural beauty times 1,000. I love it. And guys, you need to check her out on social media and Facebook, everywhere, because when I tell you, she has marketed this company so well, and it is our brethrens and sisters that are within, you know, our community of family and friends that she is utilized. So this is not just a doctor who is like, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go get some, you know, models that are like far out and I gotta, she's just utilized everybody within her own circle. Just know that I'm grateful and you are needed in this life. So keep being strong. Keep letting people know God is with you.
Amen.
This has been really fun.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate this. I'm grateful for this platform, and I think that more people should definitely watch this, share this, because it's great to see the perspectives of people who grew with their father figures, and also from the perspective of a man, you know, a male,
just male, supportive men in people's lives. And even if you didn't grow up, here's the thing that I love is that fathers that are watching can say, man, I need to
turn
get in
it
touch.
around.
Yeah, I need to get in touch with my child.
Of course, yeah.
So before we leave, finally, let's play a game.
Sure.
Either or.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this game is just about, I know, right? It's like, what is she going to ask me? But it's just pretty much everything I've heard that you have talked about. I kind of draw from that naturally, and I ask the questions that I think you'll either or, and you talk about why.
Okay.
Okay. So, would you have, this is kind of like a past tense thing, but you can still answer it. Would you have preferred to meet your spouse when you met him or earlier? Even later, but you could choose one of those.
Or earlier. I think a part of me feels like earlier, because I feel like with our personalities, we would have still been good, like, you know. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
And I can see it too, like when I see you guys moving and working together, I feel like you guys probably never were apart, like you always knew. I feel like you grew up together, kind of thing, because it's so in sync. So that's beautiful. Next question. Would you have, okay, I don't want to ask past tense, okay, more personality. So second question is, do you prefer to stay at home through the week, or would you prefer weekends? Like if you could.
Yeah. If I had to choose.
Yeah, like working, because some people can work from home and delegate.
Yeah.
You know, and you're a doctor, you could still do that, especially if you have a good team.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, in the emergency department, I can't work from home. I need to be there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If I could, that would have been awesome to be able to work from home.
Right,
I'm like side eyeing everybody that can work from home. I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. but if I had, like, with my schedule, sometimes I'm off during the week, sometimes I'm off during the weekend.
Right.
I actually don't mind being off during the week.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's some things that I can do because my daughter's in school.
Right.
That I actually have an off day, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like on the weekend, she'll be home, so
you
really
can't. So you're like tied down.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I asked, because some people will prefer weekends, but maybe they're not as tied up with family. I definitely, I don't think about off days because I have like, as an entrepreneur, I just have time. So what I do like though is mornings.
Yeah.
I'm a morning person. I'm not a night person.
Really?
Start talking to me about deep stuff
You'll
and
fall
stuff.
asleep.
I won't remember. And there's a lot of times that I've offended people because I didn't remember what y'all was talking about. So, and the last question is, would you prefer a vacation to relax or a vacation to be educated? Some people like educated types of, like, they'll go on this trip and they're going to learn about
like museums and all those things.
Yeah, or they're going to learn about the tribe and why they do what they do, and they're going to go
Got it.
Or would you just want that vacation where it's like 5-star, I'm getting my massages, I'm taking my pictures,
I would rather relax.
You want the pampering.
Yes.
100%. I don't want to hear about nothing. Thank you about your country. I like your country.
No. Like, if I had to do a little both, like one day of that.
And then the rest. Well, you can't choose both. So it's definitely all out relaxation.
Yeah.
Because that one day is almost like, let me try to
get everything in there.
Yeah, let me try to, like, say I know something about this country. Yeah. And that's so funny. I wouldn't be able to answer that question because I am a both person on that. I'd be like, I don't know. And I'll do a few days of that and a few days of that. But I'm not into the museums as much.
Okay.
Because I feel like if I'm staring at something and now I want to go create, I'm in vacation mode. So now my brain is thinking and cultivating, because as a creative, that's what I do.
Like ideas of what to do.
That's gonna help me with the next show. And then now I can't rest. And then now I'm like,
so you're working now instead of actually
so I'm not
relaxing.
So if I am going on vacation, it really is more of the relaxing, but I don't want to be in that situation where I'm like, oh, let's go find out about people's lives through art. My brain, I'm not gonna be able to relax. But if you just tell me, oh, this beautiful tree is a mango tree, I'd be like, can I get one? Okay, and then keep going. Well, I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Love
we
you
gotta
too.
go. Oh God, it was so good. Did you enjoy it?
I had a good time.
I loved it, and I loved it because I want you to understand this is not something that we are just doing for a short period of time. We are here to stay. It is a rough road to do anything like entrepreneurship from scratch without any help. But guess what? God is with you.
Amen.
God is with us.
Yes.
And as a result of that, please show that you are with us by subscribing, liking, sharing.
Share.
You can comment. I'm sure you comment on a lot of, petty things on social media. So you can definitely comment on this that has uplifting, positive. Why not? Tell us what we need to do to improve. Thank you for being here. And again, I want you to follow my dear sister with Shea Seasons, which is her company. And what is the handle?
Yes, the handle is at Shea, SHEA, Seasons, SEASONS. So yes, and then the website is also www.sheaseasonsshop.com.
Yes, we need you to make some purchases.
Check it out.
Awesome.
Give us a thumbs up and just review on Google too.
Yes, all of that. And it don't take a lot, guys. You clicking, you do it anyway, every day, all day. You can click and it's free for you, but it helps our businesses. So we're so grateful for that. If you can take that 2-3 seconds, 30 seconds to do that and just show your love and support. Look, if you haven't become a sponsor. We are looking for that. We really need some sponsors. Right now, I want you to know that the sponsorship is not expensive. It's not high. But when we start getting rolling, you're going to wish you would have joined on. Okay? And it helps to run the business because we want to continue to promote and go further out. But guys, we need Patreon. So if you are a business yourself and you need some support, you need me to talk about your business at the end of my show, like I'm sharing with you about Shea Seasons. Look, I need you to get on it and do it with a quickness, honey, with a quickness. Look, we got to get out of here, but I'm so happy that you stayed. I can't thank you enough. And I'll see you next time for the next episode. Now, I'm not going to tell you who it's going to be. You're going to have to find out by tuning in. It's your girl, Lady Bose, and I'll see you next week. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. And you don't have to dig in.
Okay, just talk regular.
It's picking it up really good.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome. It's your. Oh, let me do it again. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
See, this is stuff. All right.